What is up? What is up? What is down, too? I mean, what's sideways? What is anything? Welcome to the show, everybody. We are back again for
Yeah.
another episode of the Savage Patreon.
Mm-hmm.
Let me get a Facebook up and running here.
The book of the face.
We are going to be discussing the newly news decision by the FDA to remove petroleum-based products from foods.
About dang time.
We'll take small victories when we can.
Yeah.
This is a pretty big one, though, because no other head of FDA has ever pushed for this. And that should tell you something, that they've allowed certain things to continue and not care, but want to have you have universal health care for the things that they create in you.
Yes.
It's a great cycle. It's just like the war machine. Create a war and get the funding for the war. Use the funding for the war to make another war to get more funding for the war.
Yeah, and that's kind of like what Jay and I were discussing backstage before you showed up. It's like you have, big oil, petroleum, whatever. They work with the FDA. The FDA, they all work with big pharma, food. All of them. They're all in it together. One gets the product. The others make it, they poison you. Then it works with, the medical industry. The medical industry treats you with the medicine that's a poison, and they keep giving you this medicine that creates more problems. And it's just a vicious cycle. And you can just keep putting it back in your body, and you're just going round and round and round. So this is a good thing.
I saw it first time with my mom, not petroleum-based stuff, but she was sick for a while. It's like going downhill quick. And she was like, I don't know what is the deal, but I was fine about a few months ago, and then she started to feel bad.
Mm-hmm.
Well, lo and behold, they gave her medication for high blood pressure, and the side effects of the blood pressure medication was high blood pressure.
What?
I can't make this one up. Even if I was Dr. Seuss, I couldn't make this up. A side effect of the high blood pressure medication to bring it down was high blood pressure. The other side effects were heart failure, kidney failure, muscle fatigue, diarrhea, and a couple other things. Almost all of them she had.
And it's like those commercials, those pharmaceutical commercials. Side effects of this drug are heart bleeding, eyes bleeding, ears popping, and stomach cramps.
Gonorrhea.
Like, why are you talking about this on TV? I'm not taking that. But there are people out there that pop. I'll roll the dice. Them days are ending.
It's rectal discomfort. You can feel lots of your toes are going to fall off. You might even become gay. We don't know, but try it. And trust me, it'll take care of the one we made it for, which was what? Can't remember. It was too long ago. But once you stopped taking it, everything went back to normal.
Yes.
So it is a monopoly, and it is a scheme and a scam and all them other words you can think of.
Mm-hmm.
But finally, at least one step has started where we're going to get rid of the majority of contaminants in the food. And this is RFK's statement about it.
The food our kids are eating today is not really food. It's food-like substances. And some of it was made in petroleum refineries. And we need to give our kids real food again. We've got the highest chronic disease burden of any country in the world. When my uncle was president, 3% of Americans had chronic disease. Today, it's 60%.
Dang.
74% of our kids cannot qualify for military service. We have fertility rates that are just spiraling. Mm-hmm. A teenager today, an American teenager, has less testosterone than a 68-year-old man.
Now, I will say this.
Let that sink in.
The proof is out there if you look at how many of the males and how they look.
Yep.
I was somebody that, and they were trying to do it as though it was a flex for them, okay? They were showing 18-year-olds from 1980 something to about 1995, 97, right? And they were looking like men. Like at 18, they looked like men. They had, but when he showed today, you have men that look either like females or they look like children when they're in their 20s. And people, well, we're just looking younger. Or, hear me out, you lack testosterone. Maybe you just a girl and you happen to have male parts.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
Yeah,
that's what's happening, and it may be because the food is making you feminine.
and they look younger at that age, but as they age, they start looking older than our generation. Because I'm Gen X, man, and you see some of these, millennials and Gen Zers, they look like my age. Just it just affects the whole chemistry in their body. All the chemistry, man, it's messing them up mentally and physically.
Yep. Yep. The thing about it is that we're not willing to admit some things, and I'm glad that he's taking the initiative to do this, which is to get rid of the idea that we're all healthy just because they go to the gym, or because you run in track, or because you do some sort of sport. That actually number has been going down slowly,
Mhm.
especially the kind of talent has also been going down. This is not an epidemic by way of people not being able to by skill. This is a matter of people not being able to by way of health,
Yeah.
Mhm.
by way of health. And unfortunately, it's not going away as we would like it quickly because they keep dumping copious amounts of poisons into the food that we eat. And when you try to tell them, like, maybe you should use EBT and be able to facilitate, like, I don't know, greens. Make sure it covers more stuff like less sugars, less sodas. Covers like if you want to buy at the Whole Food store or the natural store, maybe EBT should be covered there so that you can actually get healthy food and make it like a discount there. I don't know, promote health.
Right.
That hasn't happened.
Yeah, and Jane, I was talking about it backstage, how these foods, these fake foods they sell are cheaper than organic. You're paying more if you go to Sprouts or Whole Foods
Right.
than you are for the stuff that's riddled with chemicals.
Mm-hmm.
Let me get this response here off real quick. I'm running a solo house. Let's hear what the this is another Trump official, one of those Nazis people speaking here.
Yeah.
Go figure.
The FDA is taking action to remove petroleum-based food dyes from the U.S. food supply and from medications. For the last 50 years, American children have increasingly been living in a toxic soup of synthetic chemicals. The scientific community has conducted a number of studies raising concerns about the correlation between petroleum-based synthetic dyes and several health conditions, such as attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, obesity, diabetes, insulin resistance, cancer, genomic disruption, GI issues, as I've seen in the hospital, and allergic reactions. For example, this Lancet study conducted a randomized, double-blinded, placebo-controlled study on food dyes and concluded that artificial colors in the diet, quote, result in increased hyperactivity.
Huh.
Hmm.
So the red drink from Hawaiian Punch is creating your kids to just be Speedy Gonzalez for absolutely no reason at all.
Hang on. Okay, now that you mentioned that, okay? Hold 1 second. I am curious. Just give me one. I want to check this out real quick. I'm curious. Let me see what they are here. All right. So Red Bull obviously has red dye. And what do they give you?
Oh, shoot.
Wings. Now the question is, do all of the drinks, whether they have the color red in them or not, have this red dye in them? The answer is probably more likely yes. The answer is more likely yes. And look, I've seen some anomalies in videos before. The anomaly I saw one most recently was a guy that had been on a drinking binge of Red Bull and rum or something like that. And he collapsed, but what has started to happen was I don't know what they call it, but this is what it was looking like. His chest was caving in and flexing out because his heart was beating at a ridiculous level. Like it was beating and it was swelling and then deflating, and so was his lungs. So his whole chest was.
Wow.
It looked so freaky. And if that's a result of stuff that happens to people and they come out with heart attacks and all that stuff, we don't even know half the stuff that the red dye, because they're not, I don't know if they're required to list every single thing in their ingredients either from most products.
No, they're not.
You don't even know if you're having the majority of stuff you're eating is petroleum or not. You have no idea, because they're not forced to. They're just only last time I checked, they were forced to only put a certain the type of ingredients that are there. Are only some that are required for you to be known about. The rest they don't have to let you know. Like, they don't tell you that there's a certain amount of human remains or flesh or feces in it. They never tell you that, but there is, and they're allowed to put it, but they don't tell you. That's what I mean. Like, there are lots of stuff that they put in the food. They'll never tell you it's in the food. They're not required to tell you it's in the food. And for all you know, that might be what's killing you, and you don't know it. Red was used in red pistachio. Yeah. Hey, look, I'm glad I never touched pistachios. And it was never my thing. I hated that thing so bad. Ugh, pistachios are not my friend.
And it's crazy, as Jay and I were talking about this backstage also, is that there are people out there actually upset about this, that they're removing these poisons from our food. But these are the same people that were making a big stink about lab-grown meat. Oh, I'm not going to eat lab-grown meat. We're not going to eat that stuff grown in the lab. But all the food that we're eating comes from a lab, pretty much. Make it make sense.
You can't. There is no sense to make of it.
Now, see, this is
Why
the
are we
same.
taking a gamble?
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, this is the same FDA though that conflates certain vices that people enjoy and makes it hard for those businesses to thrive. Like, for instance, the FDA has stringent regulations on tobacco products, but these are the same moronic monkeys that will conflate cigarette smoking with cigar smoking, and then say, "Well, it's all bad for you," but you're also allowing Red 40 into our food. Like, what are you doing?
We covered, I don't know if any of you saw this, but it was a couple of years ago now. There was a reporter that did a piece on McDonald's. And they were finding in certain locations teeth.
Oh gosh.
And I'm not talking like a fragment. We're talking
full-on molars,
teeth.
That's disgusting.
Jeez.
In the meat. And it was suspected that some of the things that you eat at McDonald's, some of you might have this this experience where you bite into it and you find something. It's not gristle hard. It's harder than gristle, but it doesn't look like bone necessarily. They're thinking that's what it was.
Yes.
Now, will McDonald's tell you that there's a certain amount of human, like when the meat is being processed, that somebody might lose a limb, or they might, they might pass away while doing the food cooking, and they don't stop the machines. They just continue, just grind it in there and be done. That happens. And they won't tell you.
That's interesting that you would say something like that, because you know those people that donate their bodies to science, and they're like, "Hey, I want my body to go to science," right? And a lot of times when they donate their bodies, they usually just look at the organs for scientific studies. But what do they do with the rest of the body? You ever wonder?
Stuff.
Yeah. What do they do with aborted babies? What do they do
we know
with
what they do with that.
I mean, we know, but now it makes you think, like, are they actually taking these bodies and grinding them up and selling them off as McDonald's chicken nuggets?
Now, here's a question. Do you think that he is warranted in doing an investigation into all fast food chains to see if that is something, and work with Homeland Security to see if people have been doing that via kidnapping and all that stuff to integrate?
I think and anything that has the name Food Drug Administration, food and drugs shouldn't even be in the same acronym at all.
That part.
Yeah. Food and drugs. Why are they even together? That should tell you enough right there. That should tell you.
You don't like your food with your drugs?
No. You remember they were talking about one time putting the mRNA poison in our food. Remember they were talking about that?
Mhm.
I heard some.
So it makes you wonder, like, how much are they actually poisoning us? This is just like the surface level, the red dyes and all that stuff. Wait till they start actually breaking down all of these chemicals and putting it out.
It
Those
is
are lawsuits waiting to happen.
Yep. I want to. We're gonna finish this guy's statement here.
Okay.
Is that it? That's all you had to say?
Finish. Finito.
Let me see. What do you say?
Hyperactivity. So why are we taking a gamble?
I agree. Why are we taking a gamble? We're taking a gamble because it costs. It makes people money.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
They make people money, and if it makes money, they're not going to stop it. I'm sorry to tell people they're not going to just quit doing it just because we want them to stop.
Right.
That's not how they're going to make this operate, and they do not have any intentions of making you healthy.
Nope.
Okay, it's just not possible for them to do that because I want to play this video though after. Let's get
You actually lose weight eating pasta and bread in Europe, but eating a bowl of pasta and a basket of bread here, and you just feel like you want to go to sleep and you're in a bad mood. But then you go to Italy and you have a fat bowl of pasta and maybe even a glass of wine. You feel amazing. Why is that? Well, because in 1993, the chemical industry convinced the federal government that we needed to spray our entire grain supply with folic acid, all flour, all bread, all pasta, all cereal. Although we don't call it sprayed with folic acid, we call it enriched. So enriched foods are foods that are sprayed with folic acid. Folic acid is a man-made chemical that we make in a laboratory. You cannot find it anywhere on the surface of the earth. It does not exist naturally in Mother Nature. It doesn't sound like a big deal until you realize it's the most prevalent nutrient in the human diet. I'm not saying don't eat grains or rice or pasta or cereals or bread. I'm saying eat the non-enriched versions of those, the organic versions of those. You actually lose weight eating pasta and bread in Europe, but eating
Now, I'm not a bread guy. I love me some bread. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
but bread, man, look, when the wife makes bread, that don't last maybe a day. It maybe lasts today. Maybe if, and she does not use enriched flour, by the way. But
garlic nuts.
Man, look, that thing just goes in. It bakes. It steps out the oven, and maybe 5-10 minutes later, the boys come through, and it's like locusts. And it's gone. The next loaf comes out and it's meat and it's gone. It don't last. Now you get store-bought bread, that thing will sit here for, I don't know, a week.
Weeks.
It's not the same. The body knows, like, it's not even craving it. This folic acid thing, we had many drinks back in the Caribbean that advertised this.
Mm-hmm.
And they said folic acid was for reproduction. That was the commercial. And they made folic acid sound as though it was something the body really, really was necessitating. And that's how they sold it, as a reproductive agent. And I forget what it was. It was in a powder. Glucose is what it was called. The product itself, I know it was glucose, but they called it glucose, and it had folic acid in it. Then they made a drink called Lucozade, and Lucozade had folic acid in it.
Wait a minute.
Now, would you think with this folic acid, and they spray it on wheat, they spray it on stuff that makes bread and pasta and rice and everything else. Would you think that people that have a gluten deficiency, it's not actually the gluten, but it's actually the folic acid?
Folic allergic reaction.
And they call it, they call it gluten, but it's actually they're allergic to the folic acid.
I could see it.
I don't doubt it.
I could see that for sure.
And when it comes to like putting all this stuff, all these poisons in food, it's part of the system. So if they can make you sick, you're putting into the pharmaceutical industry and the medical industry. But if you die off, guess what they get to keep? Your Social Security. So if you die off, all that money that you have in Social Security goes to the machine. Mm-hmm. So if they can kill people off, force you to pay all this money to get healthy, and then it doesn't work out and you die off, they get the money. It's a win-win for them. It's all part of the machine, people.
It big time the machine. Big time.
So then it's possible that people don't even have gluten intolerances.
Possible. That's what I'm saying. It's the chemicals in it.
It's got to be, because gluten. I mean, real gluten actually sucks up whatever is inside of it. There's no flavor to it. It's just an absorbent. Because I know in Chinese food, if you put gluten inside of a hot pot broth, it soaks up all of that flavor, and then you eat it, and it's just delicious. But then you
But think about this. Have you heard of any Asians or Italians that live in that country? Do you hear about gluten, problems over there?
You hear
No.
about MSG all the time.
yeah. But that's just a flavoring agent.
And even then, it's not the same as MSG over here.
No.
They poison ours.
Yeah. Let me see what else he has to say.
A bowl of pasta and a basket of bread here, and you just feel like you want to go to sleep and you're in a bad mood. But then you go to Italy, you have a fat bowl of pasta, maybe even a glass of wine. You feel amazing. Why is that? Well, because in 1993, the chemical industry convinced the federal government that we needed to.
Oh, they're just repeating it. They already finished it. Look, this is a far-reaching effect. What he's starting here, because it is unprecedented, and it really is unprecedented, you're going to see more people get mad at this. You're just simply going to get to see more people mad at it, because here's what you're really doing. You're making people have to adjust something that they've been told for years is good for them. Now you're stepping in, and you're already coming in under a bad blood situation where people think you're coming in and you don't have the knowledge of what you're talking about. You have to try and convince people for their own good that this is something that we need to do. Now, here's the thing. If you still want to poison yourself, you can. There's tons of things out there you can eat to poison yourself. Ain't nobody stopping you from doing that. Ain't nobody stopping you from being obese. Eat what you want. However, when it comes to people taking care of that, that is what we say. People say the government's job is to protect its citizens, right? If that's the case, then shouldn't the government at least be aware of something that is intentionally poisoning the citizens and stop it? Shouldn't that? And then after, just like we say, there's a restrictions on certain types of hard drugs. If you want to still go find the drug and do it, you can go do it. But I don't think I should have to pay your doctor bill if you get sick.
Yeah, that part.
I don't think I should have to pay for your emergency when you OD. I shouldn't have to. That should be on you. If you're taking the chance to do that stuff, that should be all on you, not on me. I think that would be the fair exchange. Maybe I'm selfish. Maybe I'm just too selfish, and that's my big issue. I'm a selfish old man.
And when it comes to the chemicals, you guys ever go to like a farmer's market or something or you grow your own vegetables? Say you grow a pepper, and then you go buy a pepper at the grocery store. Which one lasts longer? It's usually the one that doesn't have all the chemicals on it. Right. So like I said, it's just a big money laundering freaking scheme. You buy the food from the grocery store, it poisons you, but it doesn't last long. And you buy it in these big packages, and you know you're not going to use it all. So it doesn't last long. So what does that force you to do? It forces you to go back, spend money at the grocery store to buy more. And it's just they're just all working together, man, robbing us of our health, money, well-being, mental state, all of it.
Yeah, factual. This is what you were calling about. They have this on. This is on YouTube, y'all. YouTube, this is y'all. Y'all put this out there. Don't blame us. And you have no tags on it, so don't come after us. The vaccine lettuce bill.
What?
2024, by the way. Vaccine lettuce.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. I just want people to know that this is indeed something that the government was considering in 2024.
1894. Senator Hensley moves adoption of House Bill 1894. It's properly seconded. Amendments, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no amendments are filed.
Senator Hensley on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 1894 merely would require any food that contains a vaccine or vaccine material would have to be classified as a drug and labeled as such. With that, Mr. Speaker, I renew my motion.
Now, hear me out. Hear me out. If you have to pass a bill, I just want you to listen to me, please. I'm not trying to cause any problems. If you have to try and pass a bill to counter people labeling lettuce that has a drug-inducing quality to it as a drug, I'm guaranteeing you that they are intentionally going to hide more stuff in it if they don't have to divulge it.
That's right.
Of course.
I don't care who you are. The mere fact that you think that's doing that is okay without one, you ain't even asking if it's something we want. You just gonna do it. Two, you think it's okay and legal to allow it to happen.
That part.
But if I were to spike my kids' food with peanuts and send them to school, I'm a bad parent and I'm trying to poison kids.
Yep.
I'm trying to figure that out. I'm still trying to figure how that one works. That's
doesn't.
just weird to me.
It would work if it was FDA approved to do that, though, Marlon. Remember
Well,
that?
yeah,
That's what we
that
need to do. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Hensley renews his motion. It's properly seconded. Senator Campbell.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Will the sponsor yield?
Sponsor yields.
So does the sponsor know of any instances of there being food offered in the state of Tennessee that contains vaccines in some kind of a retail or public forum?
Senator Hensley.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. No, I do not know any specific examples, but certainly they are developing this process. And actually, Congress has actually dealt with this as well and passed an amendment that said no funds could be used for transgenic edible vaccines. This is a process that is being developed, but this bill merely would say that if that happens in the future, that food would have to be classified as a drug.
And this is the problem with Democrats, and I'm gonna say it. They want to wait on something until something disgusting happens for them to say, well, maybe now it's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for instance, we've been telling them with the way things are, put security guards at schools. You can't be having guns around school, children. Then when the school gets shot up, we need to remove the guns.
Yeah.
Everybody's guns, not just the shooter. Everybody needs to go. Well, hold on. We were giving you a solution to not have that problem, and no one would get shot except for the shooter.
Right.
You didn't want that solution. You wanted to wait till it happened again so you can pass a different legislation to get something else taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't tell me you care. That means you have an agenda and you're hoping for a crisis for the agenda to happen.
Yep.
Just like with this situation, well, do you know of any kind of... If the mere fact that they're talking about it at certain levels of government
Right.
tells you that, yes, it is. In fact, they spoke about it in 2020. It is not even... It's been on the news where they talked about quite possibly administering this via food because it would be easier than a jibbity jab.
Right.
Y'all talked about synthetic meat. I don't even know what you would put in that. It's pretty much eating plastic. Y'all were fine with that. You didn't want no laws passed about that. So I'm trying to find out, why is it that if I'm just putting a precautionary thing that you can't do it, why is that frowned on? Probably because you plan on doing it.
Yep.
So this is all just what is it? This is all just to save face, and it's a fake sort of thing. They're just wanting to push it, but they're trying to save face is what it is.
Well, if he's legit, he's trying to make sure that what they do push, it's labeled as a drug. But I don't want you to tell me to still do it and label it as a drug. Don't do it.
Right.
Don't do a crossover of food and drugs. How about here's a novel thought. Don't put drugs in food.
That's
only
right.
to call it a just leave the drugs by itself. That way, if I have a choice, I can go buy drugs instead of buying food and wondering about which one of them has drugs in it.
And it's since they would be labeled, since they would be deemed a drug, are they just going to have these drugs in the produce aisle with everything else? Just sitting right there with the lettuce, and these are drugs. Somebody's just going to go buy it and be like, oh, I'm going to get this drug infused lettuce right here and make a salad for my family.
How would they even label that? Like you have romaine lettuce, baby jam,
fine print.
and then
It'd
just
be on there.
Lettuce X or something like that.
Probably.
Lettuce X.
All they'd have to say is, hey, it was labeled. But who reads labels when they pick up food? I don't pick up a head of lettuce and be like, let me see. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Because you trust the people that put the products out there to do the right thing. They would hide it and try to get people to eat it. And next thing you know, people are getting sick. And then they'll be like, hey, we told them. It's all part of universal law, man. They got to avoid karma. So they have to tell you. It's up to you whether or not you're going to take the time to look it up.
Right. Yeah.
Poison yourself.
If it had a vaccine in it.
Senator Campbell.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So while I feel like this legislation's basically anodyne. I mean,
Of course, you would.
I guess it's addressing something that I can't imagine would ever exist, which is
It's called preventative measures, you blonde bimbo. Preventative measures are a good thing to have in case some idiot decides this would be a good idea. And if it was a good idea to them, we would have a protective measure in place so that the population would be aware of it.
That part.
You understand? I don't expect you to understand, because you look like the kind of person that was remedial in school, fell out, and you did the exact same thing that Kamala Harris did, except you weren't nearly as successful because you didn't look the part. That's what it looks like to me. It looks like you failed miserably at even being on your knees.
Ooh.
And so this was the best you could come up with. And to fail at that, you have to be exponentially bad at what you are doing to fail at that. That's one of the easiest jobs out there. And you failed that. So for you not to understand that this is something that we're trying to prevent the next people to have to deal with, something is innately wrong with your brain. Innately wrong with your brain. Something has to be wrong with you. But then again, I understand why you would want this to not happen, because you do know that they're trying to push it.
Yeah.
And you have money invested in it.
That part.
You have money invested in it. And that's why you will never want this to pass. It makes sense to me. It makes sense to me. There is a mentioning that guy with the folic acid. This is what they describe folic acid as. Listen to this. Folic acid is a synthetic form of folate, a B vitamin essential for cell growth and metabolism.
I knew I heard that somewhere.
I want to say that
Folate.
one word again, synthetic. And another word for synthetic is, what's that other word? Man-made.
Yes.
Oh, I was going to say
Man-made.
fake, but
Yeah.
Okay, man-made works too.
Man-made, yeah. And this is a problem, because when you try to get, this is why I don't trust medical people all the time, because not all medical people care about my medical health.
Right.
This is a folic acid benefits in early pregnancy.
Today, I would like to speak on the benefits of folic acid in early pregnancy. Women trying to conceive should be consuming on an average 800 micrograms of folic acid every day.
Holy
Why?
moly.
Why?
What did they do before that?
And that was my next question.
Oh, okay.
Why not just give them vitamin B?
You want to know where you get that from? Red meat.
No, take a drug for it, because that drug will help you be healthy in your pregnancy. My goodness.
See, and this is one of the reasons from the trust the science people. This is what trusting the science gets you. It gets you poisoned. We've been brainwashed to trust the science. You can't question the science. You can't question the experts. You can't question a doctor. And these people are poisoning us. But we got to trust them, though.
Trust them.
Because they're the experts.
I do trust them. I trust them to poison me.
Yes.
I do trust them to do exactly that, because that's all they do is poison you.
And this isn't all doctors.
Unplanned. It is extremely
50% of all pregnancy are unplanned. Really? Where? Here's my question. Where'd you get that number from?
The same numbers he got for Planned
50% of
Parenthood.
all pregnancies are unplanned.
important that you begin taking folic acid before pregnancy occurs.
You hear? You take folic acid before pregnancy occurs.
Trust
The whole goal is to keep you sick, and if you're sick, we keep you dependent on what we can come up with to cure you.
Yep.
If you're dependent on what we give you to cure you, then you'll also be dependent on our ability to give you health care to cover it. You see why they want to push for universal health care?
Yeah.
They want to push for health care, but they don't want to push for health.
That part.
If you really cared for me, then you'd push for the care of my health, right? Which would mean that you would give me time to exercise in a day. You'd make sure that my food out there is non-contaminated. That would be your actual government job, is to keep people from poisoning your people. That would be the great job of the government.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'd make sure that no one's trying to make money off of my death.
Mm-hmm.
That would be amazing, but you're not doing that. In fact, you are subsidizing our death, and not only our death, you're subsidizing our dying. You're making money of us twice, sometimes 3 times, if you can bring us back to life for a bit and then give us more drugs to finish us off. So technically, you're making money on us 3 times. And now you want us to take a certain drug that you made because you think it'll help with the babies. Now, this is probably why we're having a lot more ectopic pregnancies, is because of what they feed people. It's probably why we have, and it's more likely why we have a larger rise in autism, a larger rise in just about every other health deficiency on earth, is because what they feed us is slowly killing us, and sometimes quickly.
And America leads in all those things.
Yes.
You know, and it's funny, the same people telling you to take a poison are the same people that frowned on natural remedies, because natural remedies were way more popular, real popular, before all this poison started getting introduced. And what they do to the people that had natural remedies of healing, making you feel better, they shamed them, they jailed them, they even killed some of them.
Yeah, because
they didn't want people utilizing natural remedies to find for cures. So then they started pumping out poison. If you did anything natural, they talk crap. They try to lock you up and they try to cancel you.
And if you went against the bureaucracy here in America, you were labeled as basically a medical heretic. Like naturopathic doctors are so underappreciated, undervalued, because they want you to go to Johns Hopkins, because Johns Hopkins has the leading benefits for medication and whatnot.
And to poison you.
That part.
Where are all the natural doctors out? And you go into a hospital, be like, I want to talk to a natural remedy doctor to help me find a cure for this naturally. Where are they at? There's none.
It's hard to find.
There will be none. Now, every SABI got ended, right?
Yep.
Anytime you have a doctor that might be pushing anything holistic, you're done. You're done skis. You are what you call a kook. You don't even care about real medicine. You don't know nothing about real medicine. And good. I hope they don't know anything about real medicine, because real medicine is real poison. Why would I want them to know anything about real medicine? Okay, I know that there are some things that medicine has given us. That's good. I'm not going to say no. Insulin, but if you watch where insulin came from, it wasn't from anything derived necessarily from nothing and poisonous. Okay. In fact, if you were allowed to, you could make your own insulin. Ain't that kind of weird that you can make your own from just potatoes? You can make your own insulin. If only they would allow you to do that, then you wouldn't have to pay for insulin. Can't that be crazy? Anyway, instead of just giving me the recipe, I think that'd be great. Maybe I'm expecting too much. I'm too hopeful and too good of shape. There are too many things out there that you can just eat and not worry about killing you, and you can eat that are good for you, but they don't want that. They have to keep you, one, subservient on their whims and their wishes, and they have to keep you sick enough to keep you down. If your brain's not functioning, you can't think right, and if you can't think right, they can lie to you. And if they lie to you and you believe it, they win. Yeah. Which is why I think the people on the left that give into everything governmental, food-wise, they're so retarded.
Yes.
Look, I'm sorry to say it, but I do believe that mental retardation is directly linked to foods. And the kinds of people that you see handling their life the way they do, watch their diet and tell me, and they're all, most of them are the same size too. They're always, Majin Buu kind of people, big and pink, and then they lose their mind when they talk.
But what's interesting though is that the people on the left were also the ones that were champions of eating organic and eating clean just a few years back. Like, how do they all of a sudden de-evolve into this massive, give me all the sugars and all the synthetic stuff to pump into my body because veganism? Like, what happened?
It used to be going green or going healthy was bad tasting food.
Right.
Well, trust me, it's still bad tasting, but it's a different reason it's bad tasting. There's nothing in it anymore. Even the healthy food that they sell you isn't healthy.
Nope.
Which is why you see plenty of vegans break bones so easily. It's supposed to. It's supposed to be a nutrition stuff, keep your bones healthy. It does not do that anymore because most of the stuff they got ain't real. I would much rather go back to a country-fed kind of life where the cow eats grass, guy go shoot it in the head, cut it up, eat it. And the chicken's out there, I raise his butt, go grab some eggs, slaughter the chicken, cook my meat. That's how I prefer to have my food. And if I lose weight, I lose weight. If I gain weight, at least I'm gaining it honestly.
Yeah.
My side effect is I get corn-fed strong. So I'll take that too. Okay, I'm not willing to bale hay. I just want to make sure I put that out there. I'm not one of those guys. I'm not that country. I'm a little bit country.
I couldn't kill farm animals.
I'll
When
do
you
it for
said that,
you.
I was like,
I'll do it for you.
No, I can't raise Betsy and be like, oh, Betsy, it's your time today. So,
Just
no,
don't
I
name
couldn't do
her.
it.
Yeah.
No, I couldn't do it. I couldn't even look at them. I don't want
Don't
nothing to
name
do
her.
with it.
Don't name her.
Nothing.
The
I
problem
can't
with
do
all
it.
y'all people is y'all like to name animals. Don't name it. You
No,
don't
I
name
can't
it,
do
you don't claim it.
You
No,
still have an emotional bond with it.
No, all it is just thank you, Bessie, for your life. I will enjoy you thoroughly.
No. I can't do it.
Your
I'll be
sacrifice will not be in vain.
Exactly.
all vegetables for me.
Oh man.
You lie. I see you cooking shrimp and stuff.
No, that's different, Marlon. That's different. No,
Has a
I'm not.
taste.
I know it sounds
Sally the
hypocritical.
shrimp.
It sounds hypocritical, right? But I'm not killing it, so it's different. It's like psychologically.
That's why I said
different.
I will kill it for you.
I don't want to be nowhere near it. Like,
I'll
you'd have to come
I'll
back.
call you
No,
on the
he'll-
phone. I'll call
Yeah.
you on the phone while I'm slaughtering it, so you won't see it, but you'll hear it.
I can't. Can't do it. It makes me thinking about. Oh, I can't do
That
it.
would be me, man. I'd call you on the phone. Hey, bro, guess what, man? I got Betsy here, and
Nah, I couldn't do it. I'd hang up like mother.
Fine, I'll take your ribeyes then, bro.
Yeah.
We'll do it for you. We'll take one for the team. This is a comparison between folic acid and folate. It's intriguing to me.
Folic acid versus folate.
When considering getting pregnant, you may wonder why there is such a fuss about folic acid. Yes, I do. Folate and folic acids are essential in red blood cell formation and healthy cell growth and function. So why is it synthetic?
Why do they conflate the two?
And I just want to know, why is it synthetic if it's essential?
Yeah.
Wouldn't my body be able to either produce it or break it down? Just a question. But what is the difference between folate and folic acid? Ask this black woman, she'll know. Folic acid is a common additive.
Keep reading.
At
least they're-
they're telling you.
Keep reading.
It's a common additive in processed foods.
Pause. In what?
Processed foods.
So I'm done.
And supplements like fortified pasta and bread. Okay. Okay. Folate occurs naturally.
Key word.
Folate occurs naturally. Folic acid is man-crafted and added to food, but you say it's essential. I don't think you know what essential means. I don't think that word means what you think it means. Folate occurs naturally in many foods such as beef, liver, spinach, asparagus, and black-eyed peas. Huh. So maybe tell pregnant people, tank up on your beef, tank up on liver, eat more spinach, eat asparagus, black-eyed peas. How about, I don't know, maybe encourage that. Maybe I'm weird. Sources of folate maintain a balance of nutrients and provide a baby with a healthy brain and spine, while you give them folic acid to undo exactly what the folate has been.
Wait. Okay. So before this folic acid chemical that they created, what were the women doing before this?
Eating liver and beef and spinach.
So how did the baby survive? And the men were, and the kids were stronger, smarter, healthier back then. Sounds like poison to me.
Weirdos.
Sounds like
What-
poison.
You're saying?
It's not just the fact that it's synthetically created. They added to already synthetically created food items. Processed foods. Hello?
Sounds healthy, man.
Is this thing on?
Anything is that a thing named Chuck Rose, Salisbury Steak, and Petunia Prime. At Petunia, my dog's name. Hey, I didn't see it, man, so that doesn't bother me. Okay, let me reiterate. I'm not going to raise animals and slaughter them. Doesn't matter when anyone says, I'll eat greens and beans and corn for the rest of my life before I slaughter something I raised.
I got greens, beans,
Done.
potatoes, tomatoes.
Ain't nobody gonna change my mind.
You name it.
Won't change my mind.
Let's see what else they say here. Nutritional knowledge gives us the power to make informed choices about our unique pregnancy needs. Consult with your doctor. But you just said, hear me out. You told us it was essential. Jay Lee.
Yes.
Do me a favor, sir.
Yeah.
Please look up the definition of the word essential.
And I have a question. What about the Amish? Do they take folic acid? Because their kids come out pretty strong and healthy.
I don't even know what they do.
I'm just
Amish
saying.
just churns their butter once or twice, like Weird Al said. Living in the Amish paradise. I churn butter once or twice, living in an Amish paradise.
But YouTube, we just want everyone to know to trust the science.
Did you find it, sir?
Yes. The definition of essential means absolutely necessary or fundamental to something.
Oh.
Often referring to basic needs or important components. It can also describe something inherent to a thing or its essence.
So in essence, it's not essential. It's not produced naturally.
We're talking about folic acid?
No, yeah, folic acid is not natural, so it can't be essential. It's telling you it's essential because they want you to take it. When you can find its root, like natural copy folate in the wild. Anyway, so I'm glad that RFK is doing what he's doing.
Yeah, I am too.
I hope he takes it 15 steps further and cracks down on the meat industry, especially imported meats.
Yeah.
I hope that he takes it even further and deals with the injection habits of people like Tyson.
Oh.
I hope he deals with all of this stuff, especially what kind of eggs we have and how the chickens are reared and how they are bred. I hope he looks into all of it, including and up to what kind of pesticides we use on crops. Because last time I checked, there was a product being used, Roundup had, that was killing people, that they sprayed it on food.
Yep.
So is that good? No, it's not.
Yeah, when I was in culinary arts, we did a whole section on, GMOs and organics, and anything that has genetically modified in it. Why would we eat that? But we do. No, this is GMOs. And what? What is it genetically modified? What's in it that makes it genetically modified? What are you injecting in this food for it to be like that, or for it to have?
What
that
are you
type?
taking out?
Or what are you taking out? Look at some of the fruit. A seedless watermelon. Do you think that is a real watermelon? Because all fruit is supposed to have seeds in it, correct?
Right. Yeah.
But a seedless watermelon is telling you that it was modified. But we love it. It's delicious.
Delicious.
What'd they do to it to change it? To take the seeds out of it? What did they do to it? Seedless lemons, you name it.
Seedless bananas.
Yep, you name it. Bananas supposed to have seeds in it.
Bananas aren't even supposed to be that big.
They're tiny little things.
Crazy. In either case, we have quite the interesting next year coming up here with these people. I hope that RFK continues.
Yeah.
Adds to it. Makes it tougher for them. And eventually we can get to the bottom of this epidemic that we call the health crisis in America.
It is.
Friday, we have a possible famous Friday that's making its resurgence here on Savage Patriots. We have an individual that we haven't seen for a while who decided to make his reappearance in the world of TikTok. Y'all might remember him from a year plus ago now. It might have been a couple of years now. He's been that silent. He went silent, then he came back. And of course, I am the gateway drug, I guess, for most people.
He likes you.
Hey, I can't say it's mutual. No, I like using him as content. I have no doubt about that. Love the content he provides. but many of you may remember him, an individual by the name of Daniel. Um, I wouldn't even say he's autistic. He's just retarded. Autism would be an excuse. Autism would be an excuse. He's not autistic. The dude's retarded. And he has a special type of retardation that came from his mother not sending him to school. So he's a natural retard, not just one that because he was born and something happened to his brain, it just wasn't used. And so as he got older, he became gay. And so he's a gay retard. So that makes it even worse. So we're going to be dealing with him because apparently he could not stay away long enough to just let us be. He had to try and fire another shot across the bow. So
Really?
yeah.
Wow.
It was
so
cringe.
What we're gonna do is cover him along with his wannabe boyfriend who made a verbal threat to all of white America by saying he would stab people if they even looked at him sideways. And so what I hope to happen is this, and I hope you're listening, Genty. I hope you step and say that stupid stuff to the right white one. Yeah. I really do. And I'm not saying this hyperbolically. I really do hope for you that you get that chance. And I really hope that you find the right redneck. I hope for your sake and ours that you find the kind of redneck that you believe is everywhere in America. I do hope you find the ones that absolutely hate how you look, color, and gender orientation. I hope you find one that absolutely hates that. And you take that chance and do that. Because for us, it'd be one less fool in the world. And we would all be happy that you are no longer among the people to destroy the living. That would be amazing. You were the one that said you wanted to do it. I'm just hoping the best for you. By our standards, that is. So we'll talk about this. When you hear his statements, y'all can make your assumptions about it. But we'll be tackling the famous Fridays come this Friday. And we'll be talking about those two individuals.
All right.
Patrick Genty, in case y'all are wondering, is the same individual that we covered here before that beat his infant child almost to death, breaking bones. And now he's trying to make threats to white people.
Ever since the pokey poke that happened in Frisco.
Now, mind you, he's the same dude that got his behind handed to him for talking sideways about people. Specifically, one guy. Shout out to you, Blaze.
Hey, Marlon.
He never learned his lesson, apparently. Yeah.
Isn't that also the same guy that said he was going to pull up?
He was pulling up. I think he meant his pants. Yeah.
So that hasn't happened yet.
Has yet to happen.
Okay.
Oh my God. It's going to be a good Friday though, because we haven't done a famous Friday in a while, and
it's been a minute.
You guys know how raw we get because it's mainly a roast session with some some facts, but we're gonna have to roast them and let the whole world know on all platforms exactly what this gentleman said. Or gentleman, this thing said.
Marlon, so, what did Danny do specifically?
Oh,
I haven't heard from him in a while.
I made a video of Genty.
It was cringe.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I sent it to the chat. It's in the chat.
Yeah.
Okay. The downloaded videos in the chat.
Okay.
Because I have a suspicion he's going to want to go dark after what I said to him in the chat. So I said, "Oh, this is what you want? Okay, good. Remember, you asked for this."
Mm-hmm.
So, Danny, if you're watching, I know you're a fan. If you're watching, you asked for Friday. You requested it. I'll be a friend. I will oblige what you want. I'm gonna make you a bet that I will talk about you and your boyfriend Genty come Friday.
We'll make you famous.
Hey, and real quick, if everyone wants to know when all this FDA stuff started, it started in 1958 under I think Eisenhower. So there's an article. There's a link I posted in the chat for it. So if anybody just wants to do research for yourself and research it and then start looking into the history of Eisenhower. I thought he was a big oil guy. Jay was unsure. I don't know. But then you can start, tying it all together. Then you can figure out why he approved a lot of these petroleum products into our food and into our medicine, into skin care and face care and hair products.
That's crazy. Yeah.
You'll understand why. That's why a lot of people balding. Got to think about it. There's petroleum products in all this stuff. So
not me.
Toothpaste.
I'm gonna start
fluoride.
Swiping some petroleum jelly all over my face now.
Fluoride in toothpaste. This is why we have dental
better.
problems and cavities and teeth falling out. Fluoride in toothpaste, all approved by the FDA. Don't use fluoride. Don't use
No.
Listerine. All of it. It's poison.
Too funny. Anyway, we shall be back come Friday. Famous Fridays are on. We'll be back. Now, quick update on my schedule come this week. My son's dental appointment has been moved from 11 to 8:50, which means possibly that I may not have straight talk in the morning because I don't know how long. They say at minimum an hour for the 4 wisdom teeth to be pulled.
Oh, geez. Oh, gosh.
So,
all 4 at once?
All at
did that.
once.
I did that. That wasn't fun. I did that.
This man is going to be a mess tomorrow. So I don't think I'll be doing much in terms of anything tomorrow because I have to stay around in case he needs stuff. They become babies again when they go through stuff like that. Like, it's amazing. They go from independent and strong to
Marlon, you have to film him high.
Oh, trust me. He knows I will too.
Do it. You're going to jail. I'm going to jail.
So I have to be available to pick him up and drop him off. More than likely, I will not just hang around the dentist's office. Nobody does that. No sane human being hangs around a dental office unless something got to be wrong with you to do that. So I will not be doing that. But I will go back and pick him up. So I may not be on tomorrow. Just keep your eyes on the schedule. If you see it pop up, then I'm live. If it doesn't, then you understand why. And then on Friday, I told you I'm moving a piano, so I can't be there either. So it might be the last one was today for the week. But we will be back on Friday. I'm back with my piano moving by about 1 o'clock, so I'll be fine for Friday.
And we're also adding an additional bit of content to the YouTubes.
Yes, we'll be putting up some shots.
Floating head talk.
Floating head talk shots.
Floating head
I'll make a playlist of it too, so you guys can actually have a playlist.
That sounds good.
It's hilarious. If you guys haven't seen Jay's floating head, it's
so
he throws
so good.
Fingers out there. Even have me writing stuff down. Let me use that one. Let me use that word right there.
That's so funny. That's so funny.
You got a sharp tongue, man.
I think that. You see, partly, I think y'all think that Jay Lee is just, quiet, but that's not the case. Okay. If he were to be let loose, he'd be worse than me. I'm telling you now, Jay is not one you mess with. When he does have a vocabulary.
Yeah, he does.
A very zingy words. So be careful. Be careful.
Your vocabulary better be on point when you go after Jay.
On point.
He's gonna pull books from like the Encyclopedia Britannica from freaking 19.
You can't be inferior here. Okay, you can't be inferior.
Not inferior.
You cannot be inferior. Go get your inferior shirts. Now I'm thinking about it. Make sure y'all grab your inferior shirts. Everybody needs to know that you're inferior to them. And it's a good mix of sometimes you're superior, sometimes you're inferior. It's inferior. Okay? When you feel mediocre, you're inferior.
Inferior to. And on a serious note, everyone just start looking up, petroleum stuff and start seeing the stuff that's in your house and the medicines you take and everything. And start really researching it for your own well-being. Now that this is going to get changed, you can start sharing this information to help other people understand that you're actually poisoning yourself with all these fancy medications and these fancy dyes and it's all this stuff. So just do your research and start taking.
And it will be and it will be overwhelming, but you got to buckle down because it's your health that's at stake.
And we're all still guilty of it. I still like to double dabble in some hot Cheetos every now and then. You know what I mean?
You ain't willing to kill a dog, but you're willing to kill yourself. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Okay,
right
real fast. I saw people in here talking about you can't go hunting. I don't hunt either. I don't kill animals. I don't even kill bugs. Okay,
that's crazy.
Get that out there. I'll cook it. I'll cook it for you.
Now listen,
but I won't kill them.
Listen. Bro will off a human faster than any animal on earth.
That's true.
That much I know. Okay. So your best bet when breaking into his house is to dress up like a furry.
Yes, it's true. Or send a dog in first. I won't shoot the dog. Then if you come in after,
let the dog steal for crying out loud. You might think the dog needs food.
That's your best bet. I won't kill an animal.
That's some crazy work. That's all I know. We'll be back Friday. Y'all look forward to that. And please, for all that it's worth, be here Friday. If you want to laugh, please be here Friday. I
Marlon,
promised you it'll be worth it. I promise you. Mr. Lee.
Can you show? You still have a picture of him?
I do. I have a picture. Let me do one better. Let me do
Can
one.
you show show the
one
picture
better.
of this guy so everybody knows that they've been following us for a while. They'll know who it is.
Let me get one even better. Everybody will know him from what
Mhm.
I'm about to show you. Everybody will.
So you
I
guys might-
promise you money. You'll recognize him right away. Right away. Hang on one second. Let me grab it here.
I can't either. I can't kill a fish either. None. No animals.
All
No
right, here we
beans.
go.
Let's threat.
Y'all remember him now?
That's him.
Do y'all remember him now? You remember that face right there? There it is. There it is.
There's that face.
Hey, in case y'all don't know who he is, right? Go to our channel on YouTube and just type in Danny. We
Mhm.
did an entire segment on him.
Yes.
Trust and believe me, you're gonna want to be here Friday.
And he's popped in the comments a few times.
Yeah.
Yes, I do know what she did. She went to phase. She cut out all the bread stuff, but she started doing a different kind of natural bread. And I forget that Ezekiel bread. Y'all heard of Ezekiel bread?
Yep.
Mhm.
So she
Yeah.
did Ezekiel bread instead. She cut down, she amped up some red meats, and that helped a lot. She cut out a lot of the seasoning that she would normally use. And then she bumped up her exercising. And I think one other thing that she was doing, I'll have to get the exact thing, but the biggest thing was her diet change.
That's the way to do it.
The biggest thing was her diet change. She didn't start taking any medication. She just changed what she ate. And as soon as she regulated that, it just disappeared. It stopped. Like she doesn't have any of the markers of MS at all.
That's amazing. So check it out, folks.
Yeah. So anyway, see y'all Friday. Mr. Lee.
Like, share, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you Friday.
Peace out. Peace.
War.